Hi guys, welcome to the new video of this Linux tutorial playlist. In this video, we're gonna discuss the command that will give us the information about the user. So basically, we can take the information of user by multiple commands. So it's kind of let me increase this user info we are taking. So there are multiple commands. One of the command that we discussed in the last video, that is the who command. Another command is whoami that I forgot to show mention in the last video, but this is a single one command that shows one thing. In this video, the main command we focus is on W command in Linux. Now, what is W command and the difference between who and W command is very interesting. Another command we can use is ID command that we're gonna see in some coming next videos. So let's discuss the first whoami command. So whoami command will show us a username basically from which user you are logged in with. That's it. So if I show you a demo, if I press here I'm from here also we can see this root, and this also we can see, but if this screen is in the front of us, then we can see easily. Now what is the use of whoami? Let me show you one more demo before going to this. So this is another separate screen or separate terminal with separate user. So we can see in the starting dworma is the username, but we can show with the whoami also. Now what is the use of whoami command? Why we are using whoami? If we can see the username on the screen itself, so it's very useful when we move to the lectures of best scripting. How we can useful is while preparing script, we take some inputs basically from user, and in that inputs we want to run it or not, or we have permission to run that input or command that we took from the user, we have or not. So that will be identified, or we can write some condition using whoami command basically. So whoami command, if it's equals to root, then yes, anything we can run in the system. As we know, root is the super user that can do anything in the system. But if the user other than root is xyz, so with the whoami command we take the input, and we come to know in the background that which user we want to run this command that we took as input from user. So uh, we can do some operations in the background that we discuss in the best scripting. But yep, if this is some another user than root, we can say yes if it's possible, no then it's not possible, something like that. Now the next command we have a W command. So W command is basically similar to who command only. So what who command will show to us is it will show which user basically are logged in into the system, and on that particular users it will show some information to us, like what type of information it's showing us, like boot time, or it's showing us the run level, it's showing the dev processes, what are the dev processes of that user, or multiple things like CPU time also, something like that it's showing to us. But what it's not showing, why we come up with the new command W is what user, keep focusing on my words guys. So it's showing us which basically, and W shows us what as an extra component. So who shows us which user is logged in. The who command is not showing us what they are doing. So never the who command told us what the user is doing on. That's what we come up with the command W. So W will show which user are logged into a system plus what they are doing in our system. That's very important to know what users are doing in our system. So let's discuss the syntax of the W command first. Then we'll move it to demo. So syntax is something like W, and then options, and then we have user. So let me, if I don't give any user, it will show us all the users that are logged in and what they are doing. If I don't specify any particular user. So if I do W, as you all know, this I logged in the last session to other terminals. Let me show you also. See, here we are logged in with TTY3 on TTY3, and here we are logged in on 0 with the root, and if we show on TTY3 we are logged in on 3 terminals basically I have logged in. And now you don't know if what is this black screen, how I am switching between these black screens. Again I will how come back to this main screen. So you can watch out my last video of basically the who command, in that I showed you how Linux called as multi-user operating system. You will come to know the shortcut to move between the screens are all control F2, F3, F4 and multiple function keys basically. Now What W command is showing us, this header also, if you see, there are the system is up from this time. The uptime is 41 minutes. If you check the date now, it will show us a time. So if you calculate this time, something like that. So up is from 41 minutes. 5 users are logged in, and these are the some loads basically with respect to CPU. And what it's showing us as a header also, user TDY from login, multiple things they are showing us. And in the end, the main thing is what they are doing basically on that terminal. So if I want to remove these headers, I just want to see the information, then there is an option in the W command. So let me give you the command option, that is, this is the very first option, -h. It will remove headers. It's sometimes useful if you know what this command is showing to us, then we can see directly information. Sorry, not wo, I want W. See, it showed me directly content without any header. This is the very first option. Now the second option I want to see is, I want to let's say I don't want to show many details. Okay. What does it means is, let me take only the example of one user for now, or what I can do is I can take the example of this user. See, what it's showing is showing multiple uh, what I can say is like JCPU, PCPU units. I don't want this. So if I don't want this, then there is an option of -s, and if I do W-s only, it will give a short format for all the users. Let me show. -s is like a short format. Is an option, and I told you the syntax of W command: W options and user if you specify. If you don't specify any user and directly if you use W-s, it will show the short format for all the users. But if you want to see for specific user, then we need to pass the username here. Let me show you both. So I'm giving not giving any username. It showed me for every users basically, but they removed this basic I like JCPU, PCPU. These multiple things they removed for me. And if I want to see for specific user, then W-s, and this is the username. See, only now these two usernames are showing me, and if I don't specify any username, it will show for me root also. See, but it will show in the short format. Similarly, we can use multiple options together, like it's showing me headers on the top. I don't want headers, so I just want to remove is for -h. See, now it's removed. That's what I want. Now the main use of W command comes is what they are doing basically. That is the main use. So how we can see is like directly W command if run, then it show for all the users that are login, all the details and what they are doing. So let me go back and do W. See, what they are doing is they are showing me like this. So if you see the second line, this is a root, and I already told you the PTS/0 is the name of terminal. The first terminal we got after the booting of operating system, or where the very first user will log into the system after the booting of OS. So the very first user we logged in with the name called root. Once the OS is get booted up, then only from this username. So see, I'm logged in with root. This is the very first terminal, first console with the name called PTS0 that I logged in with. That's why the name is PTS0. And from this terminal console only, I run multiple terminals with a shortcut called Alt Control F2, F3, F4, multiple functions keys. So those terminals, whatever I'm getting from the shortcuts, those are named with a TTY, and then some number 2, 3, 4. So it's a numbering. Basically, if I press like Alt Control 3, then the name of terminal I got is TTY2. If I press Alt Control F4, then TTY3, something like that. So there is nothing but name of terminal. But the main thing to notice here is the last what they are doing. So as a root user, I logged into this first terminal with the name PTS0. At this time, I am idle from last 1 second. JCPU and pCPU is some units to measure the CPU times. What I'm doing is I'm doing W command. I'm running this W command. See, that's what I'm doing currently. And now if I do idle time, it will change. See, whoami I press and W I press. So what you can see is like idle time is keep on increasing because nothing much I am doing from last few seconds, but the last command I run up is W. Now in the 3, if you see bash, so as I already told you in some videos back in the few initial videos, so W is like a command, date is like a command, cal is like a command. They have their own use, like date have their own use to show date and time, cal have their own use to show a calendar. Similarly, we have command called bash. So bash is another program, or I can say command like this date or cal. Date uses to show date, cal is to show calendar. But bash is a command or date is a command similar to date command. We can say command or program is the same thing, not a much difference. For this clarification, you can watch my second or third video. Why I'm saying command and program are equal, you will come to know. So bash is like another command or a program similar to date or cal. The use of bash command is to take input from user, do some operations in the background, and after that operation, whatever the output come, show to user. Similar to date, what date will do is date will do some operations, and whatever the output of date command like current date and time, it will show us on to the user to us. So similarly, bash have take input from user, do some operation, output and user. So basically the terminal or the console we have is known as bash, or we are getting the terminal or console using a call bash program or bash command, you can think of like that. So why we are seeing bash here, because if you switch between these terminals, let me switch alt control F3. See, it's prompting, the mouse is prompting, and the first thing you are seeing in the braces, that is called bash program. Basically it's running and it's prompting us to give some input, like I'm giving input here, so and giving us output. So if I go back again to F1 and now if I run the W command, again see bash only. But what I want is now how I want whatever we are doing, uh, we will got some like let me show you some interesting demo. So I'm moving to this, and what I'm doing is I'm running sleep 100 here in one of the system, and if I go to F4 I'm running 1000 here, and I'm going one more time here as a root on the F2 terminal, alt control F2, and if I do watch date something like that, see, and now again back to F1. Now if I root W command, see, the, the things got changed very quickly. On the very first root on TTY2, we logged in at this time, and some CPU units. What we are doing is main thing. We are running this command. Here we are running this command. Here we are running this command. As soon as this sleep 100 will close, see, it's prompting, it's prompting, it's prompting. As soon as it will close, it will again come back to out of this command, and it will again give us back a prompt or the bash shell, so that we can run another command similar to sleep or date or cal, any command. So once this output is done of the sleep command, it will again give us what command prompt or a bash shell. So it will give us again a shell. So there are multiple type of shells. One of the shell is bash, so it will give us a bash shell again, and the use of any shell is to take some inputs from user, or to take command as input from user, do some operation and give output to the user back. Similarly that sleep is doing, and there are multiple type of shells. One of the shell is bash. So yeah, the use of bash shell is to take inputs and give outputs. So after this is complete, it will give us again a bash shell, and on the W command side, see, it's completed, and on the W command side what we can see is within a second it will do bash. See, it's automatically given as a bash. Now there is one more last option I want to share with you in the W command, that is that is I need to check one second. I guess hyphen I is the option, but I can check. Yes, hyphen I is the option, not hyphen I, not hyphen I. Uh, is the short old style. Yeah, hyphen I is the option basically. So what this hyphen I option will do is, if if you log in from some another user or like remotely somewhere, so if you know the concept of remote login, so at the place of some username, what it will show us to is it will show us the IP address. But now it's not possible. Yeah, so that's what I want to share in the W command. So if you like the video, please subscribe the channel, like the video. If you have any doubts, or like if you want some, if you want me to make videos on some specific topics, you can put those in the comment box. I will solve your doubts and I will focus on the content that you share. Thank you for this video. Let's meet in the next video.